mic's on.
I'm going to have to be really brief because
This meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. City Clerk Ed Norris, please call the roll.
Mayor McClellan,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Here.
Councilmember Selleckson.
Here.
Councilmember Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Speech.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the consent agenda next. The following routine items are presented to City Council approval without discussion as a single agenda item. Should any member wish to discuss or disapprove any item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion and considered separately. Item A, regular council meeting minutes of November 17th, 2014. Item B, business licenses, new and renewals as submitted for December 1st, 2014. C, Ethnic Advisory Commission meeting minutes of February, March, June, September, and October 2014. They've been very busy. D, Arts and Cultural Commission meeting minutes of January, February, March, April, June, July, September, and October 2014. E, Library Board meeting minutes of September and October 2014. Motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
So moved. Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have Commissioner Helene Zach, Oakland County Commissioner Helene Zach. Next on the agenda is visiting elected officials. Would you like to give us an update?
Thank you. I'm just finishing out my term. This is my last 2 weeks and closing out for this 6th term, and I look forward to serving you all for the upcoming term, which starts in January. And I am looking for a new appointee to the Senior Advisory Council to represent District 18. And this Senior Advisory Council meets on Mondays at 1 p.m. once a month in the Oakland County Complex. And what they do is they represent the district, bringing ideas, needs, concerns to Oakland County. And this advisory council is the eyes, ears for our county exec and administration. They also have done different training programs, brought other services. They're really, our senior communicator. So if anybody is interested in applying, you can go online at www.oakgov.com under Board of Commissioners and file an application, or feel free to call me, 248-546-7392. I will happily help you or take your application over the phone if you're not computer savvy, and I hope that you want to serve. We're trying to close up some other pieces of business. I do have a couple outstanding resolutions. One that is on animal ordinance. We are trying to improve our animal ordinance in Oakland County so that we can oversee kennels more effectively and efficiently. And this is because there's been a lot of activist pet enthusiasts that have come to speak at public comment, are very interested in this and other animal issues. And there's a couple of other items that are, I hope to get passed, and I'll bring them back to you. Any questions for me? 248-546-7392. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zach. Next, we have special recognition presentations. Public Safety Officers by Director Steve Cooper.
Good evening to the city manager, our mayor, and council. First, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to come before you and present some of our various citations for some extraordinary work that has taken place throughout the year of 2014. Today, I have 3 incidents that resulted in various citations. Just as a point of history, many years ago, the Public Safety Department created an awards board that consists of 4 members within the Public Safety Department. The Deputy Director is a member that sits on that board, but he's a non-voting member. Any member of the Public Safety Department may nominate an officer or a dispatcher for outstanding or extraordinary work done on a particular incident in the course of their duties. A citizen may also be nominated to receive a citation for going above and beyond with assisting with the Public Safety Department. The nominations must be in written form and submitted to the board for consideration. Our officers do an outstanding job in the performance of their duties on a daily basis, but not all of our nominations submitted are confirmed for a citation. When the awards board convenes, they discuss and deliberate over the nominations, after which a vote is taken. The nomination must be affirmed by a majority vote of the board in order for the recommendation to be submitted to the office of the director for final approval. Throughout the existence of this process, when officers are confirmed for an award, it's normally been presented during either our roll call or a training session. And in my opinion, the previous form for presenting these awards does not honor our officers in the most worthy fashion for these outstanding accomplishments. The city manager graciously agreed, stating it would be acceptable for a short presentation to take place at the commencement of the city council meeting. And for that, I extend my humble and sincere thank you to our city manager and also to this council. As we all know, the job of a public safety officer is unique, it's tough, it's extremely challenging. Being tasked with the responsibilities of providing police, fire, medical care under the same umbrella requires a special person. The City of Oak Park was the pioneer in developing and implementing the public safety concept, and we have been doing so since 1954. Before I read from the following citations, I would like to thank each member of the Public Safety Department for their continuous loyal and unwavering support to the residents, business owner, and many citizens that frequent the great city of Oak Park. The tradition and standards of excellence demonstrated by the men and women of the Public Safety Department is second to none. As the Director of Public Safety, it is a pleasure and honor to lead this department. Too often, I'm the one who stands before this council accepting the credit for the fine work of the men and women whom I serve with. And today, I defer those accolades to the rightful source as I stand before you acknowledging how proud I am, not just of the honorees, but each and every member of the Public Safety Department. As I call the name of the following officers, I would ask that they please come and stand front and center facing the audience. After I finish reading from the citation, I will present the citation and the Deputy Director will present the appropriate ribbon. Then we will proceed with the second and third citations in the same fashion. After we finish with the last reading, I'll turn the microphone over to the city manager who will have comments. And following the comments from the city manager, I would ask if the city manager and the city council wouldn't mind coming down and taking a quick photo with the 3 different groups of officers. So without further ado, I will start with the first citation. The first citation is actually a merit citation, and the officer being honored is Officer Matthew Tyson. I would ask him to come forward and stand front and center, please. And I know the city manager knows, but I don't believe the rest of the council or the audience is aware that in this incident that I'm about to read regarding Officer Matt Tyson, his shoulder was injured severely to the point where he actually had to have surgery. and he is just about at the full status stage, but just kind of demonstrates the professionalism, the loyalty that he has for the job, for the profession, and going above and beyond. So without further ado, I'll read. And this is reference a case that happened regarding a fleeing and eluding / a possession of stolen property. And it reads as follows. It says, on Saturday, March 22nd, 2014, at 3:41 a.m., Officer Matthew Tyson was on patrol in the area of 9 Mile and Coolidge when he heard a broadcast over his department radio from Berkeley Public Safety. The broadcast was in reference to a home invasion involving a male subject armed with a handgun. The suspect was reported to be driving a cream-colored Cadillac and believed to be possibly headed to the city of Detroit. Officer Tyson took up a position at 9 Mile Road near Greenfield, monitoring traffic for the suspect vehicle. Moments later, Officer Tyson observed the suspect's vehicle traveling southbound on Greenfield Road. Officer Tyson proceeded to pull behind the vehicle, activating his emergency equipment. The driver of the vehicle refused to stop and began to flee in the vehicle through the neighborhood. After a short pursuit, the suspect abandoned the vehicle and began to flee on foot. Officer Tyson gave chase and was able to apprehend the suspect, who was hiding behind some bushes in the area. The suspect was taken into custody without further incident. Further investigation revealed that the suspect was wanted for an attempted abduction at Knife Point out of the city of Royal Oak. The subject had also just committed a home invasion in the city of Southfield. The vehicle in which the suspect was driving was stolen out of the city of Detroit. A computer check of the suspect revealed that he was wanted out of the city of Taylor on a parole violation for robbery armed and also for a stolen vehicle out of Clinton Township. Due to your quick response and decisive action, an extremely dangerous felon was taken off the streets. You are commended for the excellent manner in which you performed your duties during this incident, and that's signed by myself, the Director of Public Safety. The second citation I'd like to present is a unit citation. And as I call the officers' names, would you please come forward and stand front and center, please? Sergeant Matthew Young, Detective Brian Barker, Detective David Cardinelli, Detective David Taylor, Officer Andrew Bellinger, Officer Scott Dichtel, and Officer Daniel Batora. This incident that I'm about to read from is referenced a shooting incident, and it reads as follows. It says, on Wednesday, July 9th, 2014, at 7:10 p.m., Oak Park officers were dispatched to the 15,000 block of Kenton on a malicious destruction of property report. Officers arrived on scene and discovered several bullet holes through the living room window. Officers located several 9mm shell casings scattered in the street in front of the home. One of the bullets fired penetrated the living room window, passing through a baby's playpen, lodging in the wall. The round missed an occupant of the home by approximately 6 feet. Officers secured the scene, processed various amounts of evidence, and canvassed the area for witnesses. Officers were able to develop the suspect from video footage obtained from a neighbor's home surveillance system. Several additional interviews of family members also provided valuable information into the shooting. Officers conducted surveillance in the area for several hours in hopes that the suspect would return, and the suspect vehicle with 5 occupants did indeed return to the area. An interview of the suspects revealed that they were involved in the shooting. The Detective Bureau was notified and were called back to the scene for follow-up investigation. The subjects were transported to the station where they were interviewed by investigators. After an extensive interview, confessions were obtained from all involved subjects. The case was presented to the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office, and charges were issued for discharge of a firearm, from a vehicle and possession of a firearm and a commission of a felony. The combined efforts of all the officers involved in this incident allowed 5 dangerous subjects to be arrested. Their efforts are greatly appreciated, and their performance reflects highly upon this department and the public safety profession. You are commended for the excellent manner in which you performed your duties during this incident. And the first one is Sergeant Matthew Young. Detective Brian Barker. Detective Dave Cardinelli. Detective David Taylor. I'm getting there, hold on. Officer Andrew Bellinger. Officer Scott Dichtel. And Officer Daniel Batora. The final citation that I would like to present is a merit citation. And listed on the merit citation is Officer Anthony Kerrigan and Officer Kurt Baumgartner. This incident is reference a cardiac arrest. And this occurred Sunday, October the 26th, 2014, at approximately 4:18 a.m. Public safety officers were dispatched to the 15,000 block of Miller Street on the report of a 46-year-old man having trouble breathing. Upon arriving on scene, officers were dispatched to a room in the home where they found the victim lying in bed, not breathing, and absent a pulse. Officers moved the victim to the floor and began CPR. Officers attached the victim to an automatic defibrillator, which did not deliver a shock. Officers continued several cycles of CPR, at which time the victim began breathing and regained a pulse. The victim was placed on oxygen as officers monitored the victim's vitals until Alliance ambulance arrived on scene. The victim was transported to Providence Hospital by Alliance ambulance for advanced care. A week later, officers followed up with medical staff at Providence Hospital to check on the victim's status. Medical staff advised that the victim was listed in stable condition and had been transferred out of the intensive care unit. Medical staff was very encouraged that the victim would make a full recovery. Due to the quick response and decisive actions of officers Anthony Kerrigan and Kurt Baumgartner, the victim's life was saved. And you are commended for the excellent manner in which you performed your duties in this incident, and that's signed by myself, Steve Cooper, the Director of Public Safety. Merit citation for Anthony Kerrigan. And last but not least, Officer Kurt Baumgartner. At this time, I'd turn it over to our city manager, boss.
Well, thank you, Director Cooper, and I want to thank you and Deputy Director Pinkerton for bringing this opportunity to my attention. And I think I can speak for not only all of the members of our elected officials to my left, but also the administrative members to my right and sitting over here when I say that the work that these officers do is extremely important and extremely appreciated. These recognitions only underscore what I already know and many of you know, that our officers go above and beyond the call of duty each and every single day. And one of the key phrases that you used was follow-up. Our officers are oftentimes out there on a scene and then follow up to make sure that it was handled very carefully and thoroughly. And for that, I am as proud as ever to be able to sit here and commend all of you and thank all of you for all the great things that you do for our great community. So thank you very much, and I think we want to do some.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah, you can come, you want to come down and, or you,
Just scrunch together.
oh, okay.
You want us to just kind of move to the middle?
Director and Deputy Director, if you could join them, and if you could have you, I kind of move in a little bit closer.
Over this way. If you stay for just a minute, we want to show.
Well, the honorees there, they don't want to shake my hand. Oak Park Public Safety is known far and wide for being superior, and we all know it, and we're all proud of them because they are the best. Is there a representative from Enroll America? We have someone from the Ferndale School Board, Karen Toomey, who will, board member, who will give us a brief update on what's up with Ferndale Schools.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say how personally appreciative I am of the Oak Park Public Safety for the wonderful work they provide us at our Kennedy Elementary, and I know that they responded to something very urgent just recently, and we were very appreciative of the difference they made in one specific child's life. So I always appreciate our public safety. Thank you so much. I'm here to announce something kind of exciting. We in Ferndale have just recently decided to start a Montessori next year. And so starting next fall, children ages 6 through 9 who are interested may join a Montessori program, and there is an information night which will be held on December 11th, 7 o'clock at Roosevelt. So anybody interested in their 6 through 9-year-old joining this program, please feel free to join us December 11th at 7 p.m. at Roosevelt Elementary School. We Also, wanted to make sure that people were aware that we are continuing to excel with our band program. 12 Ferndale High School students were selected to participate in the Oakland University Honors Band and Orchestra program. Students are chosen through a highly competitive selection process from a field of musicians from across the state. So the fact that we had 12 selected, we feel, is really quite flattering and a testament to the wonderful teachers we have. We also, at Ferndale High School, had senior Ty Fernari earn an all-state honors in the 200 IM and the 100 butterfly, placing 3rd and 6th respectively at the MHSAA State Championship. Placing in 2 events at a state level meet is extremely difficult, and we're very proud of her for that. Also exciting, families in desire of an affordable preschool program will be interested to know that the Little Eagles Preschool is launching a new GSRP program at the Harding Administration Building starting on December 15th. There are limited openings available, but anybody interested should definitely call. The number would be 248-586-8686. So again, call 248-586-8686 if you are interested in getting your child involved in this new GSRP program. Ferndale Schools has joined Nextdoor, the free private social network for you, your neighbors, and your community. It's the easiest way to connect and talk with your neighbors about things that matter on your block. When neighbors start talking, good things are happening. So we're proud to be encouraging local neighborhood connections. So thank you for your time this evening. We look forward to continued partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7C is a proclamation honoring the 100th birthday of Bertha Phillips Coleman. Mrs. Coleman is the mother of longtime resident Mary Coleman Burton, and she received proclamations from the President of the United States and the Governor. So we join in congratulating her on 100 wonderful years. Item 8. We will now open a public hearing to receive public comment on the allocation of the 2015 Community Development Block Grant funds. The public hearing is open. If anyone would like to speak about the way these funds should be distributed, this is the only item that we're talking about at this time. Other comments will come later in the meeting. Anyone? Okay. The public hearing is closed. We now request that the City Council pass a resolution approving the recommended allocations of the 2015 Community Development Block Grant funds and authorize the mayor to sign the subrecipient agreement on behalf of the city.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Okay, I wanted to express my support for passing the allocation of CDBG funds, just knowing that these funds have been cut year after year and have dwindled. Much of it is going into code enforcement. That's really important because code enforcement is going to be helping to identify the needs of a number of communities' houses, and being able to start from there, we find out what corrections need to be made. I'd just like to recommend that during the year, along with this grant, code enforcement conducts some workshops, once or twice, to bring residents in and talk to them about what the needs are, landlords, tenants, and homeowners, to keep their house up to code and keep it safe and make it a good livable space. Thank you.
Consider that.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries unanimously. We have next is accounting reports. So we need a motion to approve payment of an invoice for legal services submitted by Seacrest, Wardle, Lynch, Hampton, Truex, and Morley PC in the total amount of $1,168.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Are there questions or discussion? Councilman Seligson.
Oh, I just wanted to know if there's anything new on that issue to report at this point?
City Manager Tungate.
Thank you, council member. It's an excellent question. There is something new to the effect that this bill represents the time that was put in to respond to our notice of appeal. So the appeal was granted. We're now in that beginning initial stage, but beyond that, there's not an update. I do intend to have the firm come in and provide an update in the near future.
Okay, because this is, you know this better than anybody. This is extremely important to all of us.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes,
Councilmember Seligson? Yes.
motion carries. Bids. We request your approval to grant award a contract for the renovation of 13211 Dartmouth to D&T Home Improvement LLC in the total amount of $95,985. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion? This is Councilmember Seligson.
The neighborhood stabilization funds that we've gotten a whole lot of them in the past. And I know we got additional funds, but I was just concerned that in this, obviously, we've gotten some new funds, and as far as the funding, this is half of the funding that we've got based on these numbers. If these numbers are right, if I'm reading this right, half of the almost 2 million will, sorry, I'm by a factor of 10, sorry. Okay, so would we be more careful? I wouldn't ask.
Glad you're looking into it.
Thank you.
Glad you're looking into it. Question? Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, what did we pick up this house for? What was our purchase price on the house?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but we did purchase many of these homes for $1 off the tax aversion sales, and I'm sure this is one of them.
Okay, so basically, we are putting a lot into the home. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that back once we've done all these renovations, excuse me. There'll be a beautiful living space for people who are committed to living in Oak Park, homeowners, and looking forward to bringing fresh people into the market and also being a flagship for the neighborhood as far as keeping a house up to code and basically completely renovated and repaired, restored.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about this property?
Well, it's on 13211 Dartmouth, and Councilman Seligson started to have a question about the funding. We didn't actually receive additional funding. What happens is we received, almost $2 million of the grant money, but then upon the sale of the homes, we get more money back in that we revolve around, and it's called program income, and that's where these funds are being used. Expand on Councilman Levine's comments is this is a great program where we're purchasing the worst house in the block that landlords do not want. It passed all the tax reversion sales, and it's not worth anybody's investment to make any money on it. And then we have a federal program with the NSP where we can actually buy it without having to have an actual business plan to make this work and just make the worst house on the block one of the best.
Fantastic. Everyone's dream
Yes.
on everyone's
And get it back
block.
on the tax rolls.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what I'll say.
Is there a way to find out if we would get that amount out of the house if we put it on the market?
More than likely, we'll take a loss on the house because it's just there's not a good business plan for these homes, and nobody in their right mind would buy that house and put the money into it. But this is actually an effort from the federal government to stabilize
The neighborhood.
neighborhoods.
That's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. Making the worst house on the block the best house on the block is just what we all hope for. Any further questions or comments? Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson? Yes. Councilmember Burns?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 13 is ordinances. We are now on the second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend Article 6, Property Maintenance Code of Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations of the Code of Ordinances by amending Sections 18-231. Motion, please.
So moved.
Support. Questions about this? This was discussed last council meeting. Okay, roll call vote, please, then.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Motion carried. Similarly, this one was discussed last council meeting. Details on that were discussed. Small changes. Second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend Article 4, Housing of Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations of the Code of Ordinances by amending Sections 18-166 and 18-167. A motion, please.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carries. We are now in the part of the program led by City Manager Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I want to start with a brief update on the August 11th flood response, which unfortunately is still ongoing. So, two things, and there's a video out on the city website that you can click on or running on cable providing much more information, but the deadline for FEMA assistance as well as SBA, Small Business Administration assistance, has been extended out to December 14th. If you cannot come to City Hall in person from 8 to 4, Monday through Thursday, right here in this room, then I would ask you to go to www.disasterassistance.gov, or you can call 1-800-621-3362. That's the number for FEMA, and the website for the Small Business Administration, the number is 800-659-2955. And of course, if you have questions, you can contact my office at City Hall. And with that, I'd like to move to 15B. Assistant City Manager Yee, if you could join me at the podium.
Thank you. The Road Commission for Oakland County has offered to compensate the City of Oak Park $42,888.44 for winter maintenance on Greenfield Road from 8-mile to 11-mile roads and on 10-mile road from Greenfield to Oakdale. This will require our city crews to plow and salt these sections of roadway as needed throughout the winter. This is an increase in 8% over last year's amount. And it is recommended that City Council approve the attached agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County for winter maintenance on Greenfield Road from 8 to 11-mile roads and on 10-mile road from Greenfield to Oakdale.
Okay, motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Questions or discussion? Councilmember Burns.
I'm just curious, the 8% increase, is that because of the salt cost?
Yes, they originally proposed to do it for the same price that they paid us last year, and our foreman Gary Sherman-Terrell and I worked out, he worked out the numbers and thought that if we had a winter again like last year and with the increase in salt prices, that it may not be worthwhile for us to take on. So with that, they did agree to increase it by 8%, and we think it is a worthwhile venture for us.
Thank you.
Will we break even if it's a similar winter?
Well, it all depends on what kind of winter we have. This is our fourth year of doing this, and for the first 2 years, it was, looked like a good deal for us, and last year, especially with the condition of Greenfield Road, it was rough on our equipment, and, we had a lot of repairs because of that, but now we shouldn't have those problems, and I think it'll go pretty smoothly.
Thank you, Director Yee. Okay, if there are no further questions, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
motion carried.
Assistant City Manager Yee, 15C, please.
At the November 5th 2012 City Council meeting, a proposal from OHM for construction engineering for the Oak Park Boulevard patching and diamond grinding project M579 was approved. This proposal was for the inspection and MDOT contract administration for this federally funded project. The proposed amendment is an increase of $44,916 for project construction delays during the project, additional investigation of failed pavement areas, repair of those areas, and additional repairs the city requested as described in the attached letter. The city would be responsible for $8,449 of the additional costs, and the remaining is part of the federal funding for the project. Even with the additional funds requested, the construction engineering portion of the project is at 13.4%, which is well below the 15% standard percentage allowed under federal aid projects. It is recommended that the amendment request from OHM for the Oak Park Boulevard patching and diamond grinding project M579 be approved for the amount of $44,916. Funding is available in the Major Street Fund.
Okay, a motion to approve this amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Thank you. I just, some of this was contractual, some of this was just some good follow-up. Was our department involved in citing the problems that needed to be corrected with this job?
Well, it was a combined effort. So after the winter, we noticed some of the patches were moving and rocking. And we contacted OHM, who did an investigation. They actually brought out, in cooperation with MDOT, an X-ray machine to X-ray the patches and see what steel was in the patches. It was found that a lot of the patches were deficient. This was a very complex project in that it was a federal aid project. When there's federal aid projects, they are very strict on the grades and slopes of sidewalks and intersections, so we had to replace the sidewalks at every intersection, and the inspector was spending a lot of time with that crew making sure that the tolerance for ADA compliance was met. So while they were doing a lot of that inspection, they weren't able to monitor the patches that were done all in the same day. So the smaller patches were removed and poured all in the same day, and those are the ones that we found to be deficient. So they replaced some 50 patches, I believe, throughout the project at no cost to the city. And while the actual benefit to the city is that while they were there at contract prices, 81% paid for by the federal government, is we had some areas with the bad winter that had failed as well. So we were able to fix some of the other patches. So it actually, in a lot of ways worked out in our favor.
Good work.
Can you speak to holding the contractor responsible for the additional cost of the inspections caused by their problems? You said something about the contractor was not happy with the work either.
Yes, when we met with the contractor, this contractor has done several projects in the city, including the Coolidge project from 8 to 10 Mile Road, which did win a national award. And they were embarrassed by what was found here, and they took action on their part. They did not fight us at all on replacing the patches at their cost, and they were, like I said, they were embarrassed with this. This contract was a state bid contract. We do not have a contract with this contractor. The state of Michigan holds that contract, being a federal aid project. We cannot, through this contract, seek damages for additional construction engineering, especially because it was below the federally allotted amount.
Thank you for the details. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Director Maroney, could you join me at the podium for 15D, please?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. I have a temporary sign request in front of you from Greenfield Plaza at 21700 Greenfield Road. They want to place two 24-square-foot banners from December 2nd through December 31st. One will be placed in a planter box by the road, and another banner will be placed over the main entrance of the building. The Planning Division recommends approval of the temporary sign with the following conditions. The temporary sign should not be placed in or project over the right-of-way. The temporary sign should not create an obstruction or traffic hazard, and payment of temporary sign permit fee.
Okay, motion to approve this temporary sign request.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd just like to suggest, we get information about the sign, its dimensions, and we don't really get the full picture of it. I'd like to somehow, when people make a request like this, find out what color is the sign? Is it going to be a bright glowing neon type of thing that's going to be unsightly or not? I have no reason to believe that this is going to be, but a little bit additional information might be helpful so that we don't have a sign that is, just something that's going to distract
eyesore.
motorists. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and there is a picture of what it's going to look like. However, it's
Right.
probably not in color. So
No.
would you like them in color in the future?
That might be helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Director Maroney, 15E, please.
A temporary sign is requested for the Shoe Rack Outlet located at 13291 10 Mile Road. They want to place one 8-square-foot sandwich board sign and one 24-square-foot banner from December 2nd through January 31st, which includes a 30-day extension. The banner will be placed on the building facade above the walkway, and the sandwich board sign will be placed on the sidewalk under the canopy in front of the building. The Planning Division recommends approval of the temporary sign with the following conditions. The temporary sign should not be placed to obstruct pedestrian traffic on the sidewalk, and payment of the temporary sign permit fee.
Very good. Motion to approve this temporary sign.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there questions about this one? Tell us about the new business.
Which one?
Is this, because it's saying it is now open?
For the Shoe Rack Outlet?
Uh-huh.
Yes, that is over on 10 Mile Road, and they are a new business in our community. Don't have a lot of details from them yet, but yes, we are welcoming them hopefully shortly with a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Wonderful. Very good. When they open, everyone come and support our Oak Park business. We can all use more shoes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Director Cooper, can you join me at the podium, please?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you is a request for traffic control order number 160, section 1.4. And at the request of the Assistant City Manager, Kevin Yee, the Traffic Improvement Association conducted a study of the intersection at Kenwood and Roanoke to explore the possibility of making this a four-way stop. The investigation involved collecting traffic volume data at the intersection and reviewing crash history. Based on the information gathered by the Traffic Improvement Association, they do not recommend making this intersection a four-way stop. In examining the traffic volumes and the rationale, it appears that the intersection would be appropriate to have east and west traffic stop and have north and southbound traffic continue unimpeded. In looking at the road network, it does not appear that adding the stop to Kenwood would be detrimental. The nearest stop signs for Kenwood are approximately 2 to 3 blocks either side of the intersection. And it's my recommendation, and I'm asking council to approve Traffic Control Order number 160, section 1.4, implementing the recommendations spelled out in the engineering study conducted by TIA.
Okay. Motion to approve the traffic control order.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Mayor Pro Tem.
It just says in the write-up that there have been several traffic accidents there, and that one of the suggestions is to put signs up on Kenwood that say that traffic does not stop on Roanoke. Are we going to follow up with it?
That would be, my assumption was that would be an implementation that would be conducted by the engineering department in their recommendations. So in putting those stop signs up, then I believe you're probably looking at the little signs that go beneath it that actually spells out that information. Unless the Assistant City Manager Yee has a different idea, that would be my understanding of what was going to take place.
Absolutely. Questions? I know that speeding is always an issue in neighborhoods. That wouldn't,
Right, and that's a very busy street, thoroughfare, the Roanoke, and we receive, even at Public Safety, we've received many complaints. We've done several traffic special attentions in that area, trying to slow down violators, and it works. It's kind of like what they say, it's one of those perishable skills or habits that once you leave the area, then the volume of traffic starts to pick up and the speeders start to increase their speed, so you have to come back, and hopefully this will assist us in our efforts.
so there'll be patrols. Wonderful. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Mayor, members of council, for this month's department update, I've asked the city clerk to provide a brief department update for you.
Brief. Thank you for the opportunity to speak about our department. I first of all would like to acknowledge my colleagues in the clerk's office, Stephanie Subner, who is Deputy City Clerk and Director of Elections, and also Mark Hotz, who is Assistant City Clerk. And they provide a great deal of service to the community of Oak Park. So I would like to talk about that. I will just mention some things that we do on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and sometimes a monthly basis. I'm just going to list some of the activities that we perform in the office. We're responsible for specialty licensing and permits. We coordinate the FOIAs for the city, the administration for our city council. We coordinate board and commission administration. We're directly responsible for several of them independently. Record and document management, oath of office, mail services to the city. We act as the information center for the city of Oak Park, and then also municipal elections. And I will focus on that aspect. I've got some things I'd like to share with you. Before I do, though, I would like to mention one of the things that we will be working on, and really as it's going to be citywide, but we're going to be working on our web page, but specifically our clerk page. We're going to be doing some enhancements to that. So that's going to be a pretty major project, I think, coming up shortly. So I wanted to mention that. I would like to indicate that kind of a recap of this past year for elections. This time last year, we embarked on a journey to expand our precincts. We added 6 precincts and added 5 new locations within the city. 3 of those precincts are now south of 9 Mile, which is an addition. A big aspect of this last year was recruiting. With those changes, we had to recruit over 40 new election workers and train them. So that was a big highlight, I think, in this last year. With that, I would like to say it's hard to run an election without the help of a lot of people, and I've thanked several for the help they provide for elections. Someone that we don't get to thank publicly, and I'd like to do that now, are the school districts. We have 3 school districts in the city of Oak Park, and so the Oak Park School District, and then the Oak Park, and the Ferndale and Berkeley school districts. So we have to constantly work on locations, and there's a lot of administration to that, and so they are a big help, and we appreciate partnering with them. I will put this back up. We've got a couple of slides that I'd like to recap. All of that changes. We had 2 elections this past year, 2014, the August primary, and most recently the general election. The other slide's what I'd like to show. This is a little bit about turnout. I thought you'd be interested to know the governor elections for the last, since 2002. If you can see that, the total number that voted in the election was 10,301. That represents 44% of our registered voters, which is kind of interesting because that was pretty much close to what we accomplished in 2010. So you can see the other highlighted part of this slide is one of the differences is that one of the things that is different is that the AV number, people who vote absentee, increased, which is probably expected, but was 9% in 2010 and 11% in this past election. So that's kind of interesting to note. That's all to say then that the voter turnout, this is a little slide that shows what the turnouts are for different types of elections. For those of you who are watching, you can see that obviously the presidential elections, we receive a percentage of anywhere between 69 and 72% of our registered voters. So those are the big elections that we're kind of gearing up for with some of the changes that we made to the precincts. But it is kind of interesting to see where we typically range as far as primary elections and, of course, our city general elections. So that just gives you an idea of how it, we'd like everybody to come out and vote like they do in presidential elections. That's what I urge you to do for every election. Let me just finish by saying that we do encourage everyone to vote and to register to vote. And so you can do that by at any Secretary of State office, but more importantly, come to the admission office or to the city clerk's office, and we will take care of that. This next year, there are two elections that are planned, I guess. The August election, if needed, for a primary, and then obviously in November. So that's the next cycle. So that's all I have today.
Thank you.
Mr. City Clerk, I want to commend you. I know that when I hired you back in 2012, you walked into the 2012 presidential election, and if you didn't hear that, yeah, it was a little bit different. That as the city clerk said, we had 10 precincts at that time, and of course that created lines 3 and 4 hours long. Since that time, we've gone from 10 to 16, and we've tried to, as much as possible, include all of our city as geographically as we could. And I want to commend you for that transition. It's not easy to run an election like that. You and your staff have done a wonderful job. Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report.
Thank you. I'd just like to say to our city clerk, it was a beautiful election. I went to every precinct delivering donuts and work those elections, people. There's perks involved. They were beautiful. Each precinct was smoothly run. It was seamless. It looked excellent. I was really proud of our city and proud of what the city clerk and his department was able to accomplish. Beautifully organized, beautifully executed. I'd also like to commend DPW on the great job they're doing with the leaves. If you're not sure, there's a couple pickups left, and in the latest copy of the branch, there is a map where your house is located, and you can find out when the last date is. And I wonder if Director Yee would come up and just update us on the end of this cycle. I know he'd like cars moved off the streets.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, of course, we would love everyone's cooperation, and when your section is up, to not park on the street. It allows us to get through much more efficiently, much faster, and do a better job. So everyone can move their cars from the street on their designated pickup dates. Now, the pickup dates usually are over a 2 or 3 day period. That doesn't mean we're going to be there all 3 days. That means from the start of that day, we'd appreciate if the leaves were out, because once we pass by, that means we're going to be finished. We have to keep moving to get through each section as we've promised in the maps. So we appreciate everyone's cooperation, and we hope to get all the leaves out.
And when is the last leaf pickup?
To be honest with you, I don't know off the top of my head.
10th and 11th?
10th and 11th, okay.
The 10th.
Thank you.
On this, it's the 10th and the 11th, so if you haven't gotten your leaves out, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's different by section, so some sections are going to be, finishing up here, right, I think today might be the last.
Now, if
date for
someone
some
misses,
sections.
they can put their leaves in bags and they'll be picked up. Is that
Yes, through
correct?
the end of next week, we'll still pick up leaves and bags. Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Second, just for your information, the Associated Press selected 2 Oak Park High School football players to be first-team All-State players for Divisions 1 and 2. So congratulations to John Kelly, the running back, and Junior McMullen, the linebacker. Great news. I'm very honored to have been invited to speak to the graduates at the School of Education at the commencement exercises at Wayne State University next Saturday. So that will be a great honor, being a former teacher. The mayor is my second career. Let's see. There was a nice note from Temple Emmanuel that I thought should be passed on and made public. Dear Mayor McClellan, Officer Rouleau, and all the good folks in Oak Park administration, a note of thanks for helping us start our new year safe and sound. The Jewish New Year's in the fall. We're so grateful to be located in Oak Park, and your dedication and expertise make a real difference for Temple Emmanuel in how we are able to prepare and present the holiday worship services. Thanks for being there during our most hectic time and helping us to present our best face to the many congregants who pass through our doors over the Jewish holidays. And it's signed Susan Kirshner, Executive Director. I thought that was very kind of them to do that. Let's see. Reminder is to keep your cars off the streets and parked in the driveways during the winter when it snows also, so that we can get the streets cleaned out. That would be a great help. Mayor Pro Tem, let's see. We need call to the audience. There's a 3-minute time limit, and the speaker alone is responsible for their comments. Please give us your name and address if you'd like to speak.
They don't like me up here.
Oh, we love
They don't
you,
like me up
Joyce.
here. Joyce Bannon, 10611 Troy. You know I just love to sit here and go through this.
That's it.
Okay, first complaint is, you're going to have approvals for banner signs. I think it'd be advantageous to be done before, the day before. I mean, it's, December 2nd is tomorrow morning, and you guys are just approving it today? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but who am I? I think that's it.
Wow.
Not a big complaint, but I
Thank
just think
you.
it
We'll
needs to
make
be done
note
a
of
little bit
that.
at a time. Oh, and as far as leaves go, if you miss it and you don't get it in the bags, put it in your garbage can. Don't leave it in the street, because then it's going to freeze and it'll destroy the blades on our trucks. And that'll destroy our trucks, and we'll have to buy new trucks. So then our taxes will go up. So get them off the street.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is David Watkins, and I am the Community Lending Officer for Level One Bank. I am very, very pleased to be standing before you. I would like to present our disaster relief program to the city of Oak Park. As we understand that you all have experienced a lot of flood damage from August 11th, and, we also understand that, FEMA can't cover everybody. And what we would like to introduce is our disaster relief program that offers up to $15,000 to residents that are low to moderately income. Our program is based on 80% AMI, which area median income, which is basically a household of 2, right around $41,000. And, we'd like to work with the city of Oak Park and try to get some of these homes restored back to what they were before, prior to that flood damage. It can be used for a variety of repairs. We're talking plumbing, electrical, drywall, furnaces, windows, anything that's tied to the actual structure of the home, with the exception of personal property. We can provide some restoration in the amount of $15,000. And this is a grant, it's tax-free money. All they have to do is qualify income, and we can provide that assistance. And I'll leave some flyers and some documentation on the table in the back, and anyone is welcome to contact us. We'd love to work with them and provide some grant opportunities.
So just to clarify, this is a grant for up to how much?
$15,000. It's called our Disaster Relief Program.
And for moderate income.
Low to moderate.
Low and moderate, family of two, $41,000. This is grant money for restoring the basement.
Exactly. Or it could be for anything tied to the actual damages as a result to flood damage. So it could be mold remediation. It could be, drywall. We're talking windows. It could be, even the roof,
Cleaning?
Yes, definitely. So, and the best part about our program is even if they've already paid for it out of pocket, we can still reimburse them for those expenses as long as they have their receipts.
And what are the due dates on these?
Well, actually, right now, our funder is Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis, and there's about $4 million left in that bucket of money. And we're actually running about 4 grants from the same bucket. So we're doing down payment assistance and a couple of other rehab grants. But right now, we want to focus on disaster relief because we understand that the city of Oak Park is in need of those funds. And we want to try and get that money into those neighborhoods as soon as we can, before the money runs out.
Wonderful. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, Councilwoman Burns.
Next year. Does this apply to renters as well?
No, renters is an owner-occupied program. They have to be in the home. They have to own and occupy the program at least 18 months. We're offering our grant program into all 3 communities, Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb. We're targeting Oak Park because they suffered a lot of severe damage, to their homes, them and the city of Warren. But we're doing them in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb County.
Okay. Thank you, and you'll leave your card with us?
I have some flyers, and I'll leave several cards, and you feel free to contact me, and we can get the approval process started.
So it's first come, first served until the money is gone?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, there's about $4 million left. We got time, and, we have been afforded some, and the best part about it is they get to pick their own contractor, okay? As long as the contractor is a licensed contractor, we were willing to work with them. Small business, or it could be, one of your more commercial contractors that's out there.
Okay.
Okay.
Family of one, what is the?
About $36,000 would be the criteria for a family of one as a household.
And family of 4?
Family of 4, we're talking right around 49, something like that. I don't have the exact number, but the larger the household size, obviously that number goes up. So a family of 5, I know, is about $51,000.
Thank you very much. That is helpful to know.
You're very welcome, Mayor McClellan. And thank you, City Council, for letting me present.
Anyone else? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
Busy time of year. Just want to make sure everybody keeps aware of their surroundings when they're out and about, and also in the neighborhood. Let's help each other out, keep aware of what's going on, and shop local. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Councilmember Burns.
Thank everyone for coming out tonight, and also please be safe and aware of your surroundings during the holiday season. Also, the weather is changing. Please dress accordingly. It is cold outside. It's very easy to get frostbite to your hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Seligson.
Stay warm and have a good night.
That's great. Holiday season, shop Oak Park. There's great bargains, nice little shops. Stay local. Thank you and good night. This meeting is adjourned. That's it?
8:10, not bad at all.
Good night. See you later, Julie. See you later.
All right, you have a good night. Of course.
Why are you take the fur now? Where'd it go?
Usually based on some